Y'all know me, right? Right. And if you don't know who I am, well, here's a quick summary. I play Piggy. Yeah, that's actually kind of it. Now, the interesting thing is, in Piggy, you'll notice that there's a lot of kinds of traps. You know, there's normal trap, small trap, black hole trap. Surprisingly, one of the more overpowered ones. And then you got stuff like slow trap and egg trap and weirdest of all, teleporter trap. Like, some people may think, what is up with these? Like, the thing about them is that they don't really stun the player that steps on them, at least. Oh, you know, except for the teleporter trap. But that one stuns Piggy, which, who would want? And some people may wonder how to actually use them. Now, just a quick thing I want to mention. Most everything I say in this video is actually all my opinion, so if you disagree with something that I have said, for example, how to use, I don't know, the slow trap or something like that, then I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say. That's completely on my opinion. You don't have to follow anything I say in this video. But anyways, let's get to it. In fact, speaking of the slow trap, let's talk about that one first, since it's the first non-stunning trap that we've received in this game. And the thing about it is that it kind of just slows you. That's it. There's actually nothing special to it. And the thing that makes the slow trap actually pretty weird is that you can activate more than one at a time. For example, if you activate one, it's gonna make you slow for 6 seconds, but like you can activate even more slow traps during those 6 seconds. Meaning, like, if you put them in a minefield like this, yeah, so putting them in something like this, you'll see. And notice how this player is walking through all of them. Well, normally that should not be possible, for it's a freaking trap. Now, a way to avoid this is, well, you know, just put them separately, but that's where that's not really the best case, because sure, that way you won't always like activate all of them at once. But then, like, you gotta think about where to put them. And I say, just put them in doorways, because one, doorways are small, narrow areas that lead to one room into another. And that's as simple as it gets. So if you want to use a slow trap, I suggest putting them in pathways or doorways where they're short and narrow, and if you're in a chase, the trap can be pretty lethal to the player who steps on it. So, yeah, that's how I suggest you would use a slow trap. Now, coming up in the second spot, we actually got the egg trap. Now, the weird thing about this trap is that I think it was meant for Easter, since it came out around Easter time. But I honestly, I question why it's still around. Like, barely anyone uses it. Like, I see at least one person per month or 3 months or something like that use it. So yeah, it's a really underused trap, and unlike the slow trap, it's pretty much the same gimmick as both the slow trap and the small trap, because it doesn't stun you and it slows you, but it's also really tiny. It has a really tiny hitbox, and you can't act. The good thing about this is that you can't activate more than one at a time. For example, this, as you can see, this player steps on one, and then you can't activate the other. You can see they're still slowed, not as much, I don't think, as the slow trap, but they're still kind of slowed. Now, the thing you can't see in this demographic, you know, it doesn't really show, because, well, obviously I'm Piggy in those kinds of clips, but not only does it slow you for a few seconds, but it also adds a splattered egg on your screen. So yeah, you would think that actually does stop a lot, but unless you got a really small screen and have a dark brightness or something, yeah, the egg doesn't really do anything. Especially if Piggy isn't near you. Now, how do I suggest you use these traps is actually, I'm not too sure actually, because the thing is, like, they're really underused, and I've never used them before. Like, I don't think there's been, like, maybe there's, like, one or two games where I've used them, but I feel like I've never used them before. And that's what kind of stuns me here, because, like, I don't know how I should explain it. I guess try putting them in the air. You know how to put air traps, right? You jump and then you put a trap. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. And I don't think it will work as well as the slow trap, because one, obviously it's a lot smaller. But that's why I say put it in mid-air. That way it's a lot harder to jump over, and you know, that way people will, get more stuck into it. So, yeah, that's why I suggest you probably use the egg trap. Now, the thing about these two traps is that I highly don't suggest I highly suggest you don't use these traps in front of vents, because one, vents for the main purpose is for a player to kind of escape from room to another, right? Just like the door. Well, you see, unlike doors, Piggy can't really go through them, and that kind of just muffles the ability of it by a lot, especially if, and I mean it, especially if the vent is like on a different wall of the room. So if you place the trap in front of a vent, or different that's on a different wall than the door that enters the room, then yeah, the trap isn't really going to be useful there, because then the player can go like inside outside, and like just circle you. And yeah, I don't suggest that. Anyways, next up is actually the one I probably don't know how to explain the most about, and that is the teleporter trap. Now, I think this is the most used. Well, actually, no. Actually, nah. It's not that used, actually. In fact, I think it's one of the most underused traps. But that's not. But that's not really. I don't think that's the case. But you'll see. You'll know, because like it's in the name. Teleporter trap, right? It sounds good. You teleport from one place to another. That's pretty much its main gimmick. But the fact that nerfs it really badly, that makes it pretty much useless, is that it actually stuns you. Like, if you try to get on it, it actually kind of stuns you, so you can't necessarily, you know you can't necessarily immediately go from one place to another and kill someone by surprise. And the thing about it is that in the representation, it's really not. You can tell that you can tell when someone's gonna come out of the trap, because it will actually have a little particle effect play on it. And I don't think that I just don't think that that's a good thing, because then you'll know if you're there and the person's teleporting, you'll know that they're teleporting, so you'll know to avoid that exact spot. But yeah. Anyways, yeah. So, as you saw in the representation, apparently, not only does the trap stun you for a bit after use, but it also has a cooldown on how long it takes. So, as I unexpectedly thought, I thought I was gonna be able to immediately use it when placed, but no, it took about 20 seconds for me to be able to use it again. And I made sure and I tested it beforehand, just to make sure it would work as intended because I don't know, anything could happen in Piggy. And apparently there's like a 20 to 15-second cooldown on the trap, so even after immediately used, for example, if you put it in an area where if someone walks through, you have to go through the area and through the trap, not only will you not be able to teleport back there immediately, but you'll be stunned for a couple more seconds. So yeah, if used very improperly, it can cause you the game. I'm not joking. But how would I use it? How would I use this and how would I suggest you to use it? Put it in just put it on the opposite map side of the map, honestly. Like if you're on in city and you're in the I suggest you probably like put one in each building. That way you have I don't know a lot more of a faster way to get someone, and sometimes the teleporter trap works. Sometimes people don't expect Piggy to use it, and I'm not gonna lie, it even though it may slow you down by a lot, if it's on like a far part of the map that when used, then yeah, it can pretty much be rendered pretty good, and I think that if used way more proper, then that could probably be some pretty cool tricks. Anyways, what's the next trap? Oh yeah, tombstone trap. Now this one's actually a lot harder of a situation to actually make this thing useful because if you don't know, um the if you don't know what the tombstone trap sorry, but if you don't know what the tombstone trap's gimmick is, um it actually spawns a miniature zombie. Well, it's not miniature, but it spawns a zombie that's I think as slow as grandma. I'm not too sure, but like it's as slow as the grandma bot in city, and it only lasts for like 20 seconds. But if you use it in like a chase or in the room where there's like only a door to escape from, yeah, it can kind of be really lethal. And even if the player is really bad at the game, then and they just don't know what's going on, yeah, that can also kind of just give you a free kill as well, And not only that, it can kind of just kill someone off screen, even like if you're not really paying attention. It can probably kill someone if they're trying to get away from the zombie, and they just eventually they accidentally bump into you while trying to run away from it. Yeah, that can also happen. So there's a lot of circumstances where this thing could be useful, but those are kind of hard to come across. And who wants to be the camper in this house? For example, outside of the house, there's really only one way to get out of the backyard pretty easily, and that's through the door. Otherwise, you would use the window. Now, using the window can actually be really risky since it takes a couple jumps, and if it comes to someone who literally doesn't know what the gravestone trap is, because one, it's actually an event trap, so one one new player may not even know what it does, and if used very improperly, the player is just gonna die, kind of like that. And also, the zombie does go away eventually. Now, with that being said, let's get on to the last trap, which I'm not gonna lie is actually one of the more useful, probably the most useful, trap in the game. And also, if you're wondering how to use the tombstone trap, there's literally no way I can explain it. Just put it in the spot, like behind the door or something, where someone wouldn't expect to see it. And then, especially if you're chasing them, just put them in like a area where if someone is getting chased by you, they would go to, and then like they wouldn't expect it. Or if they have to go around you or something like that, then yeah, that works too. But yeah, um, there's really no good way to explain how to use the tombstone trap. But let's move on from that. And I want to talk about my one of my favorite traps in the game. Let's talk about the snowman trap. So we already got the egg trap, we got the slow trap, and now we have the snowman trap. That's three traps that don't stun, but also slow you down. Now, the interesting about this trap, however, it does not go away at all. It stays in a singular place the whole round. And I'm not gonna lie, that's actually a really good trap. Now, if that's of course if you use it properly, because here's the thing: you only get one of them, and I'm serious. When I mean, if you thought that the big trap, the thing that's been released pretty early on in the normal days of Piggy, yeah, if you thought that was a low amount of traps, or the tombstone trap in general, because you don't get many tombstone traps. Yeah, you get literally one snowman trap, but it's useful because what it does is shoot snowballs at players, and it slows it down for a couple seconds. I can't remember how long exactly, but yeah, it slows them down for a fair amount of time. And not gonna lie, um, that's actually that's really it. Now, if you don't know, which if you should know, man, why is making this video so hard? If you know who I'm talking about, um, yeah, I don't know why making these kinds of videos are so hard. Like the thing is, like I stutter a lot, but I want to make this video quick and easy and just a bit easier for y'all guys to understand. And I just hope y'all know that even if I had like a script with me or something like that, yeah, I ain't gonna be too hot when it comes to talking into a video. But anyways, um, the snowman trap, it shoots snowballs at you. I should actually, you know what? Let's put the clip up. So as you can see, this player walks through, and they get a little bit slower. Now, the thing is, the cooldown it does have a little bit of a cooldown, so it doesn't like shoot every player at once. It has like a 3 to 4 second cooldown before it shoots at anyone again. So now the obviously I'm doing a speed representation right here. So yeah, it's not that easy. Now, the last major question of this video, which is actually the reason why I'm making this video, how do you properly use this trap? Well, if the answer hasn't been obvious at all, then, you're you're a little behind on this, but, I say the best way to use this kind of trap, just put it in a highly populated area, or an area where you would go through a lot. For example, in the middle of the living room in the house, the little sewer area when it comes to the station, stairs area, I guess, I don't know, but somewhere downstairs, in gallery, the exit door area, and forest, and so on, so on. But there's a lot of different places in any kind of map that will make it easy. For example, right there, right where I walked into this building, right there is actually a god spot for this trap. Especially because if the people haven't gone into the blue key door, then, they're kind of dead. Especially because grandma is also going to help you. So you can probably camp the door. I don't suggest that because then everyone will hate you and you'll be known as the camper. But it's a pretty useful trap. Now, I'm gonna just say this right now. Just making this video, this is the first take of this video. I must tell you guys. So it's not the easiest thing to do, and I literally just had this idea like 2 weeks ago, and I just now decided to start making recording of it. And I'm gonna tell you guys if this first take went kind of well. In fact, I'm gonna ask you guys this one question only. If you guys enjoyed this video, I hope you all subscribe. And if this video, I don't know, gets a couple likes, I don't know, 5 likes, I'll probably do another tutorial on, I don't know, you guys leave a suggestion. Leave a suggestion on what should my next tutorial video be, because I don't think I've done one of these in a while. If not, then I don't think I've ever done anything like this before, but, the more you learn. And, yeah, guys, hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you guys next time.